Well, we also have the author
Yes, this is my
in the
part.
background as well.
Girl, I'm about to grab my other shit. I'm right here. Keep listening.
And he's kind of no stranger here either, you guys. He's been on the platform as well. The Black Anarchist podcast. We want to welcome also to the platform. Hi.
Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for that presentation. You were so talented. And I was watching it. I had all these ideas coming to my mind. I think I don't want to give it away right now, but I'm going to talk to you after this because I think there's an opportunity that we can actually work together. And I mean, because of a lot of people are not going to read the book because it's boring, but I think we can present it in a more entertaining way and actually possibly make money off this. So I'm definitely going to contact you after we're done with this live stream.
Manifestation.
And thank you for creating the book. You know, because again, just you say it's boring, and unfortunately with niggas need theatrics and presentation. That's just unfortunately the case. But I appreciate you for still putting the book out, because there are people like me who find information fascinating, and it really just opened up my mind more to where I was like, not only can I create something that is visual because I'm a visionary, but I can also do the one thing that people are afraid to do, which is community work, to connect with each other. This also not just promotes me, but it promotes you. And I want your book to get out there because y'all, I need y'all to read it. And no shade. A lot of motherfuckers be talking shit about what to do. He offers something that's very extreme in chapter 9, which had my ass kind of thinking like, okay, girl, maybe this may have to be it if we don't get our shit together. But thank you, the Black Anarchist podcast, for creating the book. Thank you. Yes. Let me ask you this: you still there with us?
I'm still here.
Okay. Do you want us to go right into the whole interview thing?
Yeah.
Okay, girl. All right. So, well, first of all, do you have anything that you want to say? Because you said you had a lot to say, so I'd rather you kind of get that off your chest first, and then we can go ahead with the interview thing.
Well, first, someone was asking in a comment section who was this targeted towards. I mean, I originally wrote it with the Black gay community in mind, but of course, it applies to the Black community in general. And to some extent, it probably applies to the broader queer community. But specifically, I was targeting the Black queer community because this is basically a manifesto to give us ammunition that we have been scapegoated for every problem in the Black community. And basically, you can use this book. You can actually, you can basically use the arguments that I made in the book, the historical analysis that I presented, and say that none of this is our fault. And this really, the Black community has actually betrayed us. We have been rotting and dying for the Black community, and they say that we choose our gender over our race. And no, they're the ones who have done it. They're the ones who have put our sexuality first. And so I mean, I feel a greater sense of community from the queer community. Y'all, even just look at this. The queer community has supported me right now. Even right now, you're supporting me. I'm not going to get that kind of support from the Black community. It's just not going to happen. I guess I already knew that. Just being a part of the community, I felt more of a sense of family within the Black queer community than I ever felt within a broader Black community. So it is what it is. I think you all can probably, you probably can relate to what I'm talking about, that we do support each other. This is the reason why the Black community doesn't get anywhere, because they are so individualistic. They don't have the community mindset that we have. So they talk about how, gays or transgender, they get more protection than, straight people. It's because they don't stick together. The gays and the queers, we're going to form up like Voltron, and we're going to defend, even like Little Nas X. I don't care about Little Nas X, but he's a gay Black man, so I'm going to defend him. I don't give a shit. Like, I'm not going to throw him under the bus. That's how I look at it. Like, we really need to stay on code and support each other.
That's a really good point. I'm glad that you said that, Black anarchists, because Black queer people do get a lot of heat for identifying more with quote unquote queerness than identifying with quote unquote Blackness, even though that's not our truth, but that's what they say about us. But to that point, there's been more notable camaraderie and sisterhood and brotherhood and community in queerness than there have been in the Black community for Black people. Oftentimes, we can get the little bit of resources that are there as long as we're only identifying as Black, but as soon as we identify as queer, those resources are ripped away from us. That doesn't really happen when Black queer people are sticking together. So that is a really strong aspect to what kind of glues the community together, even though our community is dysfunctional as well. But we do have a historical habit of being able to form community and family consistently and to create space. And in some way it is kind of a trauma bond, because we're banding together as a result of the rejection, of the humiliation, of the violence that we're escaping, of the evictions and all the things that we're enduring in our communities and households, etc. So our community, in terms of the Black community, could do a lot better at, if it's about being Black, then let it be about Black, because despite me being gay, despite somebody being trans, despite somebody being non-binary, bitch, we're still Black. We're Black people. And like Black Anarchist's book says, y'all the ones who prioritize our queerness over our Blackness. All the time. And there's such a immense contradiction in terms of what the community want. And we already know why. But even when they say, where are y'all? Where's the LGBT community when Breonna Taylor, when George Floyd, and then when we come out and make our presence known at those rallies and we hold up the LGBT rainbow signs, they tell us to get that maggoty shit up out of here. Wait, y'all wanted us to name tag ourselves to ensure that our presence is here in Black shit, in Black spaces, about Black things. And then when we make our presence known, y'all result to the homophobia that y'all are so obsessed with. So you really can't appease this community, because it really is just about that. It's about the phobia of it all. It's not about whether we're actually showing up. It's not about whether we identify more with gay over than being Black. The Black community has a phobia issue that's deeply embedded and has been weaponized by the Bible and the church, and this connection to God hates this. And so this has really empowered people to really feel convicted about the violence they commit against queer people, because they really believe that this is what God wants. It's it.
Okay. You hit on everything. Everything was hit on, no shade. And that's why, again, I made the project as visceral as possible, because sometimes we sitting over here like, damn, Tyrese, what more do you want from me? What do y'all want? But we also have an opportunity to change as well, because if certain people,
I said our very soul is what they want.
Well, it's our soul. Work on your own. But let me go ahead and get into the questions, because I think Jay answered this a little bit, but I kind of want to go in deeper. And the way that my questions are set up, they're in my theme, so just be here with me, okay? Every book is born in either a wound or a revelation, right? Blame It on the Dress doesn't whisper. Hell no, it screams, especially with this project. What moment first compelled you to write this? Was it a personal one, a historical one, or something you witnessed that refused to let you go? So was it like a particular moment that was like, yeah, let me write this?
I can't say it was one particular moment, but I just kept hearing this recurring theme that every problem in the Black community is because Black men are wearing dresses. It's because Black men are bitches. Like, and then there was no accountability for how, like, the fact that they created those so-called bitches. Like, there was no accountability. There was no reflection on the psychological trauma that they're the ones who raised us. They are the ones who emasculated us in the first place. The mothers beat us with extension cords. they the fathers taunted us for what taunted me for throwing the football like a girl. So it's like we are the creation of the black community, and they act as if we just raised ourselves, that we just chose to be gay, we chose to be effeminate, and it's just like I'm not going to say that it's necessarily. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being feminine. By the way, that is another thing that I wanted to address.
I love feminine men.
Being feminine is a weakness. It's not a weakness. Like I think the weakness is the fact that black men are not allowed to express their femininity, that they have been disconnected from their feminine side. Um, and so what Carl Jung talked about is how when you don't integrate the masculine with the feminine, you basically you're not a complete human being, and so you spend your whole life trying to compensate for the fact that you are not allowed to be feminine, and then it manifests in this toxic masculinity, performative masculinity. It's not even real. It's fake. They don't and it's not just oppressive for the gay community. It's also oppressive for the straight men who have to perform because they're not allowed to um, display their feminine side either. It also oppresses the black women because they can't. The men are not allowed to display their feminine side, which means they're not going to be nurturing. They're not going to be good caretakers. They have to disrespect black women in order to perform to this whole stereotype of this trope of a black masculine man. And it all started from slavery. So I wrote it because I guess I need to explain my philosophical foundation. Like Arthur Schopenhauer said that religion is the common man's metaphysics, right? So a lot of people will turn to the Bible because that's just the it's low hanging fruit. It's accessible. People can it's stated in a very plain way that most people can relate to. But religion is just it's a simplified version of metaphysics and philosophy. So if you want to get to a higher understanding of things, you can't really stop with the Bible or some other religion. Like I guess my philosophical underpinnings is that I am both an anti-nihilist and I am an anarchist. I'm also a pessimist. So you can use religion, but you still need to have a proper philosophy. So the book was written with anarchy in mind because the liberation of the queer community really comes from queer anarchy. But I'm an anarchy in all its forms. Like I'm against all hierarchical systems, including gender hierarchy. But I'm also an anarchist. I mean, I'm an anarchist and I'm also an anti-nihilist, which you've kind of alluded to. That is one of the solutions. Because one of the main reasons that they're scapegoating us is because like two people of the same sex can't procreate. So I've already addressed that. Like I don't think that procreation is necessarily a good thing. I think what the problem is that they're doing things their way and then they're blaming us for the consequences of it. They're saying, oh, you should be like us, do things our way. But no, the way that you guys are doing things is not doing anything but getting us oppressed. It's getting us it's causing us to be victims of the systems in perpetuity. So we need to try to do things a little bit differently, to stand back and look at what has been done, and maybe we can do something else. And we actually do have a lot of leverage, but you're giving the system all your leverage because you're doing exactly what they wanted to do. You're doing exactly how we got to where we are, why black men have been broken, and why black men are forced to engage in this performative masculinity. So what you're doing is you're feeding right into the hands of white supremacy. White supremacy, I mean, homophobia is a byproduct of white supremacy.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they say it's the other way around. Wow.
Right. We address that in chapter 2. So I guess we're not, we can talk about that.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the other way around.
If you haven't purchased the book, go purchase it, please. Educate yourself and read. Again, the Department of Education is destroyed. Read a book. Read a book. Read a motherfucking book. Okay? My next question to you is this. Well, first of all, the title alone to a lot of people may feel like a curse, right? As if fabric became a noose or something. The dress isn't just clothing, it's blame stitched into the skin. So how do you see the dress functioning as a metaphor, functioning as a weapon, and as a scapegoat in our community?
You probably are not old enough to remember this, but back in the day, there was a song called "Blame It on the Rain." Right? It's like no, it's blaming on dress, blaming on the fact that black men are in dresses. So
Hmm.
I had different ideas for the title, but I came up with the imagery that it was going to be a muscular black man in a dress, just not just not caring, not giving a fuck, and I don't know. I decided to run with it because the other ideas I had just didn't work, and
Hmm.
that is what they're doing. They're literally, and they're really running with the narrative that Dave Chappelle came up with. That Hollywood is trying to emasculate black men. If black men would just be masculine, all our problems would magically disappear. But no, they were masculine at the time that they were enslaved. They were masculine at the time that they were being hung under Jim Crow. So how is putting on a pair of pants going to fix the community? Like, it's so nonsensical. It's a non sequitur. It's not addressing anything, but it is low hanging fruit. And it is something that they can wrap their heads around, that if black men would just be more masculine, we would have more protection. Meanwhile, the people who are actually causing the harm to the community are so called masculine, the ones who are abandoning their children, the ones who are creating the so called, you know, um, I don't want to use the word, the F word. They're creating these people. So it's like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? No, we're not the problem. We are products of the black community's dysfunction.
Mm, mm, mm.
And aren't those masculine bodies that are doing that the same ones that have their jeans hanging off of their asses and imitating a prison style that's said to be a signal for men who have been taken already by other men?
Right, and I addressed that in the book too. I'm not sure which chapter that is, but basically, um, black men don't, or heterosexual black men don't see themselves as object of desire. They see women, basically an object of desire can only be feminine, which means you're the receptive partner. You're the person who gets penetrated. So the woman can be desirable, the feminine gay man can be desirable, but if you're masculine, you're not an object of desire. You're the conqueror. So they can go around half naked and don't get any pushback, and because nobody's supposed to look at them in a sexual way. They're supposed to be at the top of the food chain, the pyramid, and so if a woman were to do the exact same thing that they do, no, the woman, oh, she's a slut. There's a great deal of intersectionality between homophobia and misogyny.
Yeah.
As a man, if a woman walked outside butt naked, I would not think anything sexual because I'm not attracted to her. So everything is really based on the male gaze, or the heterosexual male gaze, that because they see women as desirable, that is going to be shamed. But they're not desirable. They don't even think about the fact that they walk around half naked, and then maybe other men actually find them attractive, and you're telling us not to be gay, but you're walking around naked. So how does that work? You don't think that we're actually looking? They don't think that we're looking at them. They don't think anything of it. You're literally showing your ass. You can see your dick print, and you're supposed to look away. Like, it's just so crazy, because in any other context, if a woman were to walk around half naked, they would say she deserved it. She tempted the man.
Mm.
Us, they're not even if you were trying to struggle and not act on it. No, you're walking around half naked. So how what are you supposed to do?
And will unalive you if you try them.
Because this is just for the ladies. It's just for the ladies. It's just for the ladies. It's for the ladies in the room. Let me hear you in the comments. Just the ladies.
But in
So
prison, it's just for the men in prison.
It's not even for the ladies, because which I also addressed in the women are not supposed to find them desirable anyway. Either, excuse me. Women are only supposed to find men. They're only supposed to find men desirable if the man manipulated her, if the man sort of either he did something nice for her, he bought her something, but they're not actually supposed to find men desirable because women who find men desirable are sluts. Like they're not supposed to actually get any pleasure out of sex. They're really just there to please men. And why a man would want to have sex with another man because it's especially if you're a bottom because it's like, what are you getting out this? Like I didn't.
Bottoms. Thank you, Lord.
I didn't do anything for you. Like, how are you enjoying having sex with me? Like, really, it stems from a low sense of self-esteem that men, a lot of heterosexual men don't even see themselves as being objects of desire. So what are you doing having sex with me? You're just disgusting. You're having sex with me. I'm disgusting. Like, that makes you disgusting. It makes the woman who has sex with men disgusting. Like, you're supposed to want to have sex with women because women are not disgusting. You get your, I don't know. You're, I'm trying to think of the term that I used in the book, but it doesn't go the other way. Like you get they say that you get validation from having sex with women, but it's actually the other way around. They're creating a dichotomy where they're sending mixed messages. You actually get more validation from having sex with men than you do with women because the community has taught us that male validation is the higher standard of validation. That you don't necessarily respect women. You only respect attention from men. So women are competing for the attention of men, and even straight men are competing for the validation from men. And they use women as tools to get validation from other men. So behind the veneer of heterosexuality is homoerotic. So it's like I'm going to get this woman who's desirable, but no, look at me. I'm the man who was able to get the woman. So behind it, you're still looking at the man.
Yeah, I agree with that because I've heard on a panel somebody use the excuse of, if I'm going to a dinner or something, I'm meeting with some sort of general or whatever, I got to make sure my girl on my arm looks really good so that I can get that position. Again, it's just a bargaining tool, just a chip used. Oh, you got something, CTV? What's going on?
Yes,
Look at
I want
smiling,
to say
girl.
shout out to Arshawn, the Conscious crew member. Arshawn is first of all straight, purchased the book, and not only did he purchase the book, he purchased one for me and one for Shauna, my moderator.
Hey! Come on, Arshawn. And shout out to him because I've seen him on the live a few times. I appreciate you being open-minded, Arshawn. Even though you say patriarchy forever, we still support you. We still support you.
And he be gagging with that. But no, Arshawn is sickening. He just bought 3 copies of your book, Black Anarchist Podcast.
And make sure y'all leave reviews. If y'all have more than $50 on your Amazon thing, which if you really resist, then you shouldn't. But anyway, if you do have it, girl, make sure you leave a review for J. Charles so that he can get more people and to read his book and to get his book out there more. So by y'all doing that come on, community work.
Is Shauna in the chat? Shauna, if you're still here, let me know. Send me a DM on Instagram so I can send you your download link for this wonderful book. Blame It on the Dress. And shout out to Arshawn. My God. Well, we officially got the straight community supporting education, supporting Black queer entrepreneurship and Black queer literature. This is community. Freaking amazing. Shout out to you, Arshawn. You're doing the work. Okay. Also, I want to respond to PD who says so-called buck breaking didn't just happen to men. No slave was safe from cruelty on the plantations. Women, kids, the elderly. If we keep it real, so many true history is whitewashed and destroyed. Absolutely. And to that point, buck breaking wasn't even about turning slaves gay. That would have contradicted the slave master's breeding law. It was about humiliation, like all rape and forced coercive sexual assault. This is the same thing they do to the whole Old Testament Lot and the angels and the men trying to get a hold to the angels. That wasn't about the men being queer, especially when Jesus said that angels are genderless to begin with. That was about humiliation, because rape is also a Middle Eastern psychological tool, war tactic against foreigners. It's used against women. It's used against immigrants. It's used against anyone
Prisoners of
who needs to
war.
be dominated and conquered. This is about rape and the perversion of sensuality, the perversion of consenting mutual love. Okay.
But the black community has actually embraced that whole buck breaking mentality because they see homosexuality as the ultimate form of emasculation. That if you have sex with a man, then you're just a bitch. And so, if you're going to feed into that mindset, then of course they would have looked at the man who got buck broken as being a bitch. It's like, no, why are you giving it so much power? It's just sex. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that you have been emasculated. You're still a man. We're still men. We can still protect the community. What do you think? We're just eunuchs that, like, we still have the physical strength. We still have capable minds. It doesn't mean anything.
I'm a spiritual eunuch. I'm just playing. That's a
You
little
have to be a
inside
spiritual
joke.
eunuch. I mean, you are a eunuch. A eunuch.
No, it's an inside joke because somebody called me that, and I adopted that name, so I just say it a lot.
Spiritual eunuch.
Yes, because that I didn't know that he was like, "You're a spiritual eunuch." I said, "Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna adopt that. I am BubzDaGawd, the spiritual eunuch, bitch, the leprechaun spiritual eunuch." Yes, yes, yes. But you did speak about something, Jay, when you talked about like the whole finding the whole gay experience, gay just existence disgusting. We've all seen the pulpit, because you brought up the church, turn into a stage, right? Scripture weaponized like brass knuckles, right? So in your research and your lived experience, how has the black church, regardless of how many denominations, girl, how many in the nigga church, girl, kept queer men on the altar, even while claiming to fight white supremacy? What do you think about that?
I mean, I didn't really address that in the book. I kind of addressed like the whole missionaries, like when they went to Africa and how they homophobia. But yeah, absolutely. There's plenty of gay choir boys. I was one of them. My choir director was one of them, and everybody knew. But that's why I'm saying it's so fake. It's so performative. So it's like you can be. That's what. Okay, homophobia is not really about an aversion to sexuality. It's really about protecting the masculine image. So they're more. You get more pushback about not being masculine than you get about being actually gay. So long as you present as masculine, a lot of people won't have a problem with it. But if you're a so-called sissy who's going to embarrass the community, that's what they don't want.
Yep. And we've heard that a lot. Like, you can be gay, but why you gotta be girl?
All that.
Yeah, why you gotta act like a girl? Why you gotta be da, 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 da. That's why it's so much heat on a lot of the effeminate boys in the community and on trans women, because it's that femininity, it's that anti-feminine, misogynistic bullshit that is pushing against that. The feminization of men, when, to Black Anarchist point, the reality is that we're all on the energetic spectrum of these universal polarity, feminine and masculinity. We all literally have them. So there's just no getting around that. And men have to express their femininity, women have to express their femininity, and the sooner we get over sexualizing that or even socializing that and just accepting that as a inherent part of our humanity, the better off we'll be as a goddamn people.
Exactly.
Right, but
and I just gotta say, a Black Anarchist, you got 4 book purchases so far. IG also just purchased your book, child. So your book is coming off the shelves, child. It's coming off the shelves tonight. Okay, the people are buying your shut up, child. Shout out to the Consciouz crew, baby. We can always count on y'all to spend that dough, baby. Y'all gonna spend that money. Yes. You was going to say something, Black Anarchist?
I just wanted to say that the correct term that Carl Jung used is the anima and animus. So everybody has a counter sexuality, that the man has an animus and then a woman has an animus. So it's basically you have a masculine and a feminine side. So it can either be healthy or it can be unhealthy. Everybody has it. So this whole dichotomy, this false dichotomy that men are all masculine and women are all feminine, it's not true. Everybody possesses it. It's just how you integrate it. And some people integrate it in a healthy way and some people integrate it in a toxic way.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of things that you see, it presents as masculine, is actually toxic femininity. A lot of the so-called masculine behavior is really emotional. It comes from a place of emotional dysregulation. It's not masculine. Um, it's performative masculinity. Like, being masculine is about being a protector and a provider. And like, for example, my father, when he ridiculed me for throwing a football like a girl, he was not being masculine. He was being feminine. He was worried about how other people were going to perceive.
Wow.
And are not really masculine, but they present that way. So it's performative.
Absolutely.
I'm just curious to see what people are gonna say afterwards, as far as, in response to this. Because again, just like we said on the live yesterday, we have all this information now, and people still be like, "Huh? What? What?" But then now it's happening to them because again, we collectively get fucked now. So now at this point, like Monique said, you better go ahead, just relax all your, even me at the top, relax all your muscles, girl. Just breathe. Your eyebrows will be burning, your eyelashes might be disintegrating, but you will make it through. But like you kind of mentioned earlier, books like yours don't
I
just
have to
live
do
on.
my lashes over every time I'm on my knees to my man.
Yes. What did you say? Shit was so funny. But like you said, and as we see, books like yours don't just live on paper. They want to bleed into other spaces, to different types of expressions of film and art. If Blame It on the Dress were expanded into another medium besides on paper, what truth or warning would you insist must never be watered down? Like, girl, I don't give a fuck. It ain't no Hollywood shit, bitch. If we doing my shit, this gotta be the main focus. Don't touch this. What do you think that would be?
I mean, there's a lot, but if I had to just pick one, I would have to
Mm-hmm.
say that homophobia is not pro-black. That is actually a byproduct of white supremacy.
Okay, well, let's continue with that question because it goes to this other question I have. Some will say homophobia is just cultural, just ours. But in your book, you name who the actual puppeteer is, which is white supremacy itself. And when you made that connection explicit, what resistance or denial have you ran into because of that? Like, what have people said about you saying that?
They won't actually engage me. They won't. They won't. And they they don't. I mean, a lot of this is coming from anti-intellectualism. They can't really like when they talk about queer people. They're not talking about an actual person. They're talking about an archetype, a phantom person. When they're actually confronted with a person who's standing in front of them, they can't really engage with you because you're supposed to be some phantom who doesn't actually exist. You're not supposed to actually be a gay man who's going to actually give them pushback. You're supposed to be like bullied into the corner where you just shut up. But when you actually, they know that what they're saying is fucked up as hell. They know it is. Like, they don't even like, they can, when they're in their little enclave, they can talk shit about gay people. But when it comes face to face, no, it's a completely different thing because they're really cowards and they can only do it when they're like their strength in numbers. They can, you know, go in their little echo chambers and say, oh, it's not the straight black man, it's the gay black man or the cause of all the problems in the community. So, yeah, there really hasn't been any pushback. They won't engage me. I'm trying to see if anybody will debate me. I would like, well, I would have said Umar Johnson or somebody, but y'all see what happened to him. This is what I'm talking. I'm turning to these so-called masculine black men and look at the results that you're getting. You think that they
Oh.
You don't have the answers because they're broken. They have not integrated their feminine side. So he's supposed to be a protector and a provider, but he's not actually masculine. So he's looking for the community to protect and provide for him.
And this is the time too, like y'all was talking so much shit, but see, again, they don't want to have those conversations because they're used to or being told that you Hulk smash, Hulk destroy. That's what they want. That's how they express it. But that's gonna be crazy when hoes start whooping their ass. Hopefully motherfuckers will learn it. And I got 2 more questions for you.
Before you get to those 2 questions,
yes,
I want to insert kind of not a question, but a topic. I kind of want to get your response to it. I was listening to August Alsina he was on a show with Nick Cannon, and he spoke about, like, they asked him pretty much about, like, how was you able to get to a place where you ended up, like, pretty much in love with a man. And I thought his response was really interesting because it kind of touches on what just got said in Arshawn's statement. Let me see if I can share my screen here. Okay. All right, check this out.
Bisexual anymore, because that even implies that there are 2, and there's only 2, right? So now
be trisexual.
Well, there are and I was really touched when you said love is discovery, because obviously you've been very public, and I know you're comfortable talking about this. 2 years after your entanglement with Jada Pinkett Smith, you were on another show and you talked about your love for another man. And I know that when we talk about this, we help others. What has opening your heart done for you?
To be honest with you, bro, it's not even me that's opening my heart. It's that power that's higher than myself. I always say that the greatest gift that God could have ever given me was exposure, to expose me to so many different kinds of people, places, things. So it's like when people want you to define yourself as whether you're gay, straight, bisexual, or whatever, as you were just talking about, love is like much more complex and it has much more depth. So for me, I'm just the kind of person that's like, because love is a language, I'm fluent in love when it speaks to me. Why do us as humans,
people don't even like the—
Okay, so I thought that was very interesting. I actually was going to do a whole entire show on this because y'all already know that this kind of gets into my my whole philosophy about how love is also just as much of a spectrum as orientation is and gender is. And I've always been curious because my personal philosophy is that more than likely the natural orientation of humanity actually is pansexuality. Homo and hetero probably exist on the extreme opposites of the spectrum, but probably more people exist in and have a capacity for pansexuality than what we know, but we don't quite know that because of just how much we've socialized hetero and homo, and we force people into labels, and we've browbeat people into identifying one way out of fear and for survival. And so we really have not really ever given people the opportunity to really unfold and to really know what their authentic self is and to really explore their full capacity to bond and to connect to other human beings. And I really found it quite beautiful with August Alsina kind of like speaking about his orientation, not even from his orientation, but more so from a place of like love. Like, I am a being of emotions and I'm complicated and complex, and I don't know if there's some type of like numerical or measurable way for me to if there's some type of numerical or measurable bottle for me to put people in if I embark upon a relationship to somebody and I'm open and the feels feel and we have a lot in common and we enjoy each other's time and we're loyal to each other, have respect for each other, we have a chemistry between each other. I mean, I'm just going to let it be what it is. Just going to let it be what it is. And I think about how many women have such deep platonic relationships to the same sex. Like, even if they're not on some lesbian stuff, like, women have a capacity to get very intimate, even in their platonicness with other women, even in their community with other women. I would like to see Black men explore brotherhood a lot more, because I feel like a lot of Black men are hurting, and a lot of Black men need the affection of other men, need like genuine, wholehearted love and connection with other men. That's important. And I think we're dawning upon an age, well, I don't know what's going to happen now, since we're trying to pull the lever back, and we're trying to get into a time machine here, and we're trying to get non-progressive, and we're trying to get back to some black and white ass shit, which is crazy. But on the same side of that coin, it seems like we are headed toward this like this era where people don't want to be boxed in. People don't want labels, and people are, and I've seen Black men step out of their comfort zone, even when it comes to aesthetics, when it comes to wardrobe, when it comes to just how they exist, definitely when it comes to their orientation. We live in some fascinating times, but yeah, to IG's point, what did IG say? Oh, they would have some flat and abstract, no room for a fuller humanity than their own. That's what's really missing, is a fuller humanity, for sure. But on to your questions, Bubs. You on mute.
Kind of figured that. No, I was saying you good, and I would definitely love to see a live on that, because no shade that Black men are hurting. Not just heterosexual, queer men too, no shade, but just on the spectrum, Black men just need to be able to learn how to let shit go and live and be. Okay? You are more than what this box, this coffin was created for you to be. No shade.
I would like to address that also.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
It really comes from having a negative anima that they were not in touch with their feminine side. So a lot of Black men don't think they actually have a feminine side. So they see women as being something foreign to them, that they're not able to connect with women on an intimate level. They're actually more emotionally intimate with other men. That's why I'm saying that it's homoerotic, even though they're technically heterosexual. Like, they will have sex with women, but they don't have any intimacy with them, and so they only have a deep connection with other men. So even by what they're actually doing, it's not really, they're not really heterosexual on an intimate level, like, or heterosexual on an intimate level. There is homoerotic. The only part about them that is heterosexual is the fact that they have sex with women, but they're intimate with other men.
All right. I love how IG put it. Opposite sex attracted, but same gender loving.
There you go. Yes. Exactly. No shade. I had read that quote from I forgot her name, but talked about how the whole culture for men is homoerotic. Everything, the validation of a man. I want to be like him. I want to have what he have. And I low-key want to watch that movie Him, because that might even explore some of the concepts. The new Marlon Wayans movie that's coming out, that might explain that as well. Let's see. My last two questions for you tonight before I guess we get into any questions from the chat. And if you have some, please ask them now. No shade, so we can just go ahead and get to them. I know a book like this doesn't sit quiet on the shelf, right? Some people gonna watch, read it and gonna clutch their pearls. Others gonna breathe hot ass fire breath. Others will finally exhale because it's like, okay, somebody hears us. What reactions have surprised you most, both the applause and the backlash, in reference to your book?
I guess the thing that's most surprising is the lack of response. That I expected some pushback. I expected somebody to tell me that I was wrong, and nobody has really said anything. I mean, there have been several people who have read it. I don't know. I did make it available for free temporarily, and a lot of people downloaded it, but I don't. I expected there to be more pushback. That's the part that's been surprising.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's the crazy part. Like, this will be the time to give the pushback, especially now that y'all president, some of y'all president is president now. This is the time for y'all to do that. But I guess what's happening is that they're just waiting for the green light to fully do it, because at this point, I guess they're done with talking. They're about to show us the queer phobia. So it's just sad, but yet it will be etched in history forever for the ones that will get it. And when they do, they're gonna read the fuck out of us. No shade. My last question to you is, if you could whisper one warning into the ear of every black parent raising a son, one truth they cannot unhear, what would it be?
Oh, well, I mean, there's so much I can say about that. I okay. If I was going to narrow it down to one thing, I would have to say that you're lucky that you had a child who was born with 10 fingers and 10 toes. Like you were, you were privileged to have a healthy child, and now you're sitting up here complaining because the child is not going to be what you thought, what you envisioned your child was going to be. Like you didn't know if your child was even going to be alive. Like it could have been a stillborn. It could have been deformed, and you're sitting up here complaining and whining because your child is gay. Like I don't know what people think when they procreate. Like you could have gotten anything. This was a luck of the draw. Um, you're not entitled to anything. You're not even entitled to have a child. Like you could have not had a child, and you have a healthy child standing in front of you, and you're just going to whine because they're gay. Like I think the entitlement is absolutely deafening. That this is a human being. Like this is your child is not an extension of you. This is a fully sentient human being who has their own individual experience, their own desires. They are not here to serve you. Your child is not your slave. Um, One thing, if I were going to reduce it down to one sentence, your child is not your property. You don't own your child. They always say this. Oh, that's my child. I can do whatever I want. No, your child is a human being. Your child is not a slave.
I was about to say, I appreciate that comment, Arshawn.
As a straight man, I was somehow groomed to feel that gay sexuality was a threat to my own. Nobody ever sat and told me, but I got the message. I don't know how to untangle it for others.
I'm glad you got it. And there are some black men who are willing to get it. They just got to face the same fear that you have to face in order to get it.
Right, but
Everybody,
that's the whole thing, that homophobia doesn't only negatively impact the gay community. It impacts everybody, including straight men and women, because they're going to be victimized by association. They don't. I mean, they have to perform to be masculine. They can't associate with gay people. If their children come out gay, they're going to be ostracized. It affects everybody.
Yeah. And I was going to say that I think that what makes homophobia stick is the pressure and the compounding from bullying is what really cements it. It's really the way that people are really othered and gawked and mocked and humiliated. And I think that it helps homophobia to stick because it's so consistently reinforced. It's so reinforced. It's so reinforced. And there's such a knee-jerk reaction, such a adverse reaction to a femininity personified through men. Whether that's transgenderism or gender fluidity or identifying as same gender loving or masculinity in women, even though gay women have it seemingly a tad bit easier because their same-sex attractiveness kind of feeds the twisted fantasies of patriarchy, but they even also still suffer. Trans men still also suffer under and in a patriarchy, but I think that that's what really helps the homophobia and the phobia of it all to stick is the perpetual bullying and reinforcement of it all. And, you know, a lot of us had to find the inner strength to really come out of the closet because living out loud is scary because we all knew how much it could cost us to live out loud. We all knew that we were taking a big potential L by claiming it. Whether that was having our families turn against us or having our peers turn against us. you know, I really empathize for the down low. I empathize for those who are in the closet. It's so destructive, but you know, it's also a part of human self-preservation, and I can't be mad at people for preserving themselves, especially when the stakes are this high, when you're willing to kill people, or people jobs are at stake, people's livelihoods are at stake. Self-preservation is a logical act. Live out loud for what? Just to end up crucified. So also to that point, shout out to all other revolutionary ass queers who said, "Yeah, bitch, if it's cross, I'll go." If it's a cross, girl, somebody gotta go, girl. So shout out to all those who are able to live in a shit, and all the people who took those L's. But I think what doesn't get enough conversation in the LGBT community also is the trauma of the aftermath of coming out.
Yeah.
Because it's not completely perfect either to be living openly in your truth. And maybe I'll put a panel together of queer people and talk about the aftermath of coming out, the good, the bad, and the motherfucking ugly.
That live would be epic. And it's so crazy, kind of just piggybacking before we end this, but how it starts so young, like I said, how it starts so young. In the book, even Jay talks about how some toothless crackhead is coming around projecting his bullshit onto somebody else because he can't change his own life. And it starts so young. So a lot of us experience that bullying as children. So when we talk about protecting the children, do you really protect all children? Is that what you mean? Or just certain groups of children? And if so, I'd rather you just tell the truth than to keep doing this mental gymnastics where you fucking all the way up. But Jay, the Black Anarchist Podcast, thank you so much for coming through. I'm just so happy that you were able to get some book sales. Also, for the people that are reading it, please make sure that you read it, and don't just read it and be like, If there's something in there that that resonates with you, if there's something like, hold on, Jay, bro, wait a minute, what about this, pimping? Open your mouth and say it. We need the critiques. You know people that will be able to have conversations with you without reading you for filth. Now, if it depends on what energy you come in and you stay in. If we stay in a certain frequency, girl, we got to match it. But for those that want to learn, for those that want to open their minds, the ones that want to face the fear, that's what I put all those disclaimers in the beginning for. So for the pussy assholes that ain't got time for this, please move out the way. We need individuals who are willing to go through the fucking fire, because that's the only way that, first of all, not only are we going to save the community, but that's how we start saving the community, by saving ourselves first. And reading Blame It on the Dress definitely is a signpost to the truth. We got to put in the work. So shout out to everybody else that has done that. Shout out to y'all for coming through and watching with us. And thank you again, the Black Anarchist Podcast, for taking your time.
And for spending that motherfucking money, crew. Arshawn is packing a punch. Matter of fact, we have another. Arshawn purchased a copy for another Conscious crew member. So if there's any Conscious crew member in the chat
right now
and Blame It on the Dress, let me know in the comment section. Either email me at conscioustv@gmail.com or message me in my DMs on Instagram at conscioustv on Instagram, and let me know that you're interested in a copy of Jay's books, because we have purchased a few and we are handing them out. So one more book available for a lucky viewer who's interested. And to Bub's point, since Jay's interested in conversation and getting the conversation started, for those of you who follow FBAs and Adolfs are your favorite hoteps, ask them to read the book. Ask them to review the book and to give their thoughts and perspectives on the information and the knowledge, and Blame It on the Dress. But yes, thank you for being here, Jay. Matter of fact, for people who want to contact you, maybe there are people who want to invite you onto their podcast, who want to interview you about the book, where can people contact you at?
Well, my channel is the Black Anarchist Podcast. I don't always talk about queer issues. I talk about anarchy in general, but queer anarchy is a part of anarchy. And this one other comment, for those of you who read it, I really appreciate it if you would leave a review on Amazon or wherever you purchase it. It is available now on other platforms, Barnes and Nobles, several platforms. I gave it wide distribution. So, yeah, just leave reviews because that is important because that's what's going to help to generate more traffic to this book.
Yes, and I'm going to link the book as well, you guys, in the description box below for those of you who are going to see this in the aftermath of it out in the replay. Check the description box, and you'll be able to get you a copy of Blame It on the Jess. Thank you so much for being here, Jay.
Thank you so much, and
Yes.
Bubs, we can talk or we can do that later whenever you're available.
I'm with it.
Period.
Yes. Thank you.